Time for round two between India and South Africa, the second test that kicks off in Pune on the 10th of October. We're going to look ahead to that with Ajit Agarkar on ESPN Cricinfo Match Day as South Africa look to make a comeback at a venue that's only seen one test, and the conversation in that test was more about the pitch than the players on it. Right, so we're back in Pune for Test cricket, and let's just give you all a reminder as to what happened the last time. Ajit Agarkar doesn't need a reminder. He was covering that game with us, and he remembered how the ball started turning square on day one. Australia would remember that. Steve Smith would remember that for that fine 100 in the second innings on what was a complete turner, and a game that went on 2.5 days, where Steve O'Keefe got 12, and in some ways you could say India were caught with their pants down on a turner which they thought would help the home side more than the away side. And with the little evidence of red ball cricket that we've seen at the MCA Stadium, what are we expecting from this Pune pitch, Ajit Agarkar?
Yeah, well, it's been a 33-run loss for India. It's unheard of in India that India lose that badly. Even on a really ranked turner, even batting last, India usually find ways to compete, if not win test matches. So, yeah, there'll always be a talk around a pitch which has produced that kind of result. But we've seen in one-day cricket or T20, generally the pitch holds well. I know it's over 3 hours or 6 hours or 7 hours, but I have played some cricket there.
Yes.
And it's usually a decent pitch, not as bad as the one we've seen in Test cricket. So we'd hope that that's the case over the next 5 days. That it, like all Indian pitches, does turn, but it is one that offers both teams an opportunity to play some good cricket.
Yeah, Virat Kohli said in the pre-match press conference briefing that he doesn't know how this pitch will play. Our man Karthik Krishnaswamy at the ground says initially when the covers came off, it was hard to differentiate between the surface and the strip itself, given the amount of rain that's been in Pune. There has been white ball cricket where we've seen the seamers get some help. What sort of pitch are you expecting? What would you like to see rather this time of year?
Again, west of India, like a lot of the venues would have some red soil or red soil content, or like something like Wankhede, which has a lot of red soil, which affords you a lot more bounce. As spin bowlers, it does grip the surface and turns a lot quicker than some of the other venues in India, and you get that extra bounce as spinner. So there will be some assistance for the bowlers. This pitch in particular, now it's been a few years, so it seems to have settled down. It was a lot more two-paced when the venue was built. But again, because of the soil, it will afford bowlers help throughout the test match. You just hope that it's not as bad as the test that was played here, and it'll be a competitive one. The batsmen will have to play well. There will be some bounce, so you can play your shots. It's not the biggest of grounds. So again, it's such a mystery when not a lot of red ball cricket has been played here, or not a lot of 5-day cricket. There has been domestic games where Mumbai has played last year, I remember, and Maharashtra batted well, and it went on till the last over. There was some assistance for the seamers throughout that domestic game. Hopefully it stays true. Hopefully it's the only thing is there's been a lot of rain around till about a week, 10 days back in and around Pune. Whether they've got enough time to prepare a good pitch, we'll have to wait and see. But I'm sure there'll be enough in it for the bowlers.
There'll be a little bit of pressure on that Pune groundsman as well after receiving a poor rating from the last ICC match referee that oversaw a test match, the only test match at this ground. But regardless of what the pitch might throw up, it's a bit of a mystery even for Virat Kohli. He says he doesn't know how the pitch is going to play. It doesn't look like there'll be any changes, but for an injury, India look fairly balanced after that first test. 2 spinners, 2 seamers, the way you would go?
Yeah, I think it's the conditions. I think if there is going to be a little bit more assistance, or spinners might. It was a bit slow in Vizag. Here, if it does spin, it's going to spin a lot quicker, which will make the job of the batters a little bit tougher. So that's why they might retain that team, but they've got to at some stage give a serious thought of Ravindra Jadeja playing as their all-rounder at number 6 or number 7, whichever way they go. Saha at 6 and him 7. If your top order is doing quite well, and if it's a good pitch, we saw they had to work a lot harder with 4 bowlers in the previous game. And they have the luxury of having Ravindra Jadeja batting so well in Test cricket now, showing responsibility when he does bat. Plus Ravichandran Ashwin, who's got runs in Test cricket, Saha himself. So they've got enough depth till number 8, even if they decide to go that way. Not an easy decision who to leave out.
Ashwin bats 9, he's got hundreds in Test cricket.
Yeah, whether it's a Vihari or Rahane, But those sorts of calls good teams take depending on the conditions. Might not be the case in Pune. If there is a little bit of assistance for bowlers, then you want that extra insurance of a batsman. But India's got to start looking that way because Ravindra Jadeja has shown a lot of improvement with the bat in particular. Whether it's going to be that easy at number 6, I'm not sure, but at least at number 7, I think India has enough depth. So, but in this test match, I can't see them making any change if the conditions are what everyone seems to be a little bit confused about.
Yeah, Virat Kohli has been a fan of the 5-bowler theory, but with Hardik Pandya not in this team, and with a convincing win in the first test, we'll see if any changes are made. Looks unlikely though on the eve of this test. What about South Africa? We spent a large part of the first test where Ajit said that he's a big fan of playing his best bowlers regardless of whether they're spinners or seamers, and in spite of the runs that Dane Pete got and Muthuswamy got, maybe you'd want to find room for Lungi Ngidi regardless of conditions.
I think so. Yeah, he's played here.
Yes, he has for Chennai.
For Chennai as well as their home ground. So, yeah, again, if it's as bad as the pitch that Australia played on, I don't imagine it to be that bad. But then you might stick with another spinner. If not, you've got to still trust your best bowlers to get the job done. And this pitch will it'll definitely assist the seamers a little bit more than Vizag. It won't be as slow. There will be a little bit of two-pace nature in that pitch, or it has been historically. So Ngidi is the way to go. I think Faf has said he'll try and see what their best options or best aggressive options are. And in my opinion, the seamers are the way to go. Even last game on that slow pitch we saw, Indian batsmen found it hard to score off the seamers.
Yes.
It's not, okay, they didn't give them too many wickets, but it was hard to score off them. So with a little bit more assistance, I'm sure they can create a bit more trouble for the Indian batters.
And what about Faf du Plessis himself, who's been at the receiving end of some questions about his own batting order? Is he batting too low at 5 for you?
Yeah, a bit surprised actually, because he's arguably the best player in this lineup with no Amla, no De Villiers. At this point, I would have thought just to take a bit more responsibility, play spin so well, to come in at number 4 and shoulder that responsibility in a developing team. I think 5 it's not too low, but you still want your senior players to show the others the way. It'd be great for South Africa if he can come and do the same things that he does at number 5 and number 4. Might take a lot more pressure off that 5 and 6.
All right, thank you very much, Ajit Agarkar. Get your thoughts on ESPN Cricinfo match day as this test match comes our way. India taking a 1-0 lead into the second test at Pune. All eyes will be on how that Pune surface plays on day 1. And Ajit's thoughts will be with you on our network at the end of each day.